Lemony Snicket, the lackey who couldn't stop screaming. A very odd Christmas story. This story ends in someone's mouth, but it begins in a tiny village more or less covered in snow. The snow had fallen during the long night, during which the children had pressed their faces to the windows, looking for a glimpse of a man who they suspected of bringing them wonderful gifts. But instead they heard a terrible noise from a certain cottage in a neighboring arrondissement, a word which here means a place where something is being born.
Whoa.
The cottage was already regarded with some suspicion, as it was the only place not decorated with flashing colored lights at this time of year. The thing that was being born was a... Say it correctly, Andrew.
Latke.
A latke, which I want to eat, a word which here means potato pancake. Latkes are traditional parts of the celebration of Hanukkah, a holiday commemorating a miraculous Jewish military victory. Nearly everything in this world is born screaming, and the latke it was no exception, even though the latke wasn't conceived and born the way you and I were conceived and born, but instead was fashioned from grated potatoes, chopped onions, beaten eggs, and a dash or two of salt. Once these ingredients were properly mixed, the latke was slapped onto a pan full of olive oil, heated to a very high temperature, and this is where it began to scream. Ah! Come on, you gotta help me out. Ah! Ah! It's still screaming. The page will turn. Ah! The latke was suffering so much that it leapt out of the hot pan and out the window of the cottage and began to run screaming down the boulevard.
Ah! Squirrel.
Squirrel! This may seem like unusual behavior for a potato pancake, but this is a Christmas story in which things tend to happen that would never occur in real life. The latke ran past a row of flashing colored lights which hung from the rain gutters of a less suspicious cottage. "What's all this ruckus?" said the lights in unison. "We're the ones who are supposed to be dominating the neighborhood with our cheerful glow." "I just got thrown into a pan of boiling oil," the latke cried in reply. "Can you believe it?" "Yes," said the colored lights, "but we can't imagine why." "Because I'm a latke," said the latke. The olive oil reminds us of the oil that was used to rededicate the temple following the defeat of the I can't say it right. I hope you're not recording all of this. yes, in the hands of the Maccabees, which I am saying right. The
Macaronis and cheeses.
No, it's Maccabees. They were really, really cool people. The oil was only supposed to last for one night, but there was a miracle and it lasted for 8. Plus, the frying makes my skin crispy and brown. "So you're basically hash browns," said the flashing colored lights. "Maybe you can be served alongside a Christmas ham." "I am not hash browns," cried the latke. "I'm something completely different." Ah! Ah!
Ah!
The latke rounded a corner and found itself face to face with a candy cane, which wrinkled its red and white nose at the latke in distaste. "I'm trying to sprinkle the night air with my peppermint scent," the candy cane said. "Your mouth-watering smell, not to mention all that yelping, is spoiling the effect." "My mouth-watering smell is part of the cozy feeling of Hanukkah," the latke replied. "It reminds us that things are better now than they were in 175 BCE, when my people were not allowed to practice their religion. In order to study the Torah, they had to hide out in caves, and when they heard the Greek soldiers coming, they pretended they were gambling with small spinning top called a dreidel." Sort of like Mary and Joseph hiding out in a manger," said the candy cane. "Someone should write a Christmas carol about you." "I am not a part of Christmas," cried the latke. "It's a totally different thing." Ah! Ah! At the screams of the latke grew quieter and quieter as the pancake ran out of the village into the surrounding forest. In its utter fury it was unabated, a phrase which here means the latke was still very annoyed at the objects to whom it had been speaking to, but it was quite tired, so it decided to rest for a few minutes beneath the branches of a little pine tree. The pine tree was napping, but it woke up at the sound of an object plopping down at its feet. "Are you a present?" said the pine tree. "Presents are pretty much the only thing allowed to sit beneath me during this time of year." The latke sighed. "Presents aren't really a big part of Hanukkah. said in a voice hoarse from screaming. There's nothing wrong with giving gifts to loved ones, of course, but it's more important to light the candles for 8 consecutive nights, to commemorate the miracle at the temple and the miracle of victory even when you are thoroughly outnumbered, so you shouldn't give up hope. Plus Santa Claus, said the pine tree. The Latka was just too exhausted to scream. Santa Claus has nothing to do with it, the Latka said. Christmas and Hanukkah are completely different things. But different things can often blend together, said the pine tree. Let me tell you a funny story about pagan rituals. Andrew, I can't see. Get the light back up, please. Thank you. I need more than 8 nights of light. Before the pine tree could begin its story, a family came trooping through the snow, searching the forest carefully. We shouldn't have waited until the last minute to get ready for the holiday, said the father of the family, who was holding an axe.
On to it? I'm getting very tired. Could you hold on to it?
We never find a good one. You shouldn't give up hope, said the mother, and pointed at the pine tree. Look, it's perfect, said the daughter. Oh, beautiful, agreed the son. Such a marvelous shape, said the mother. And the skin looks nice and crispy, said the father, and he reached down and scooped up the latke from the snow. We need to reheat it, of course, but it will be perfect for Hanukkah dinner with a topping of applesauce and sour cream or even jam. I'll refire it in the oil, said mother, to remind us of the rededication of the temple. And the triumph of the Maccabees, added the daughter. After hiding in the caves all that time, the son chimed in. The father, Andrew, you've got to give me a light.
I'm very tired.
Well, you can't be that tired. The father smiled down at the latke in his mitten and then stared curiously at his other hand. What was I thinking about bringing this axe? He said to himself. Light.
Light.
Aziz, light. If you know the reference, I'll be very impressed. Give me the phone.
There you go.
I still can't see. Ouch!
Back it up.
Nope. The family strolled back to the village, walking past all the cottages with the flashing colored lights and smiling politely at the candy canes until they reached their own home. The family carried the latke into their own home, which was warm and cozy, and sat down at the table, which was lit with the flickering candles of a menorah, or Hanukkah, which is a branched candelabra designed specifically for the holiday. You gotta hold it so I can turn the page, dude. Andrew.
I'm looking.
You gotta hold it so I can turn the page.
Okay.
Sammy's gonna think we're absolutely crazy, by the way.
Yeah,
We are absolutely crazy. Look, there's a squirrel. It's very frustrating not to be understood in this world. If you say one thing and keep being told that you mean something else, it can make you want to scream. But somewhere in the world there is a place for all of us, whether you are an electric form of decoration, a peppermint-scented sweet, a source of timber, or a potato pancake. Light, please. And on a cold, snowy night, everyone and everything should be welcome somewhere. And the latke was welcomed into a home full of people who understood what a latke is and how it fits into their particular holiday. And then they ate it. Lemony Snicket is the author of a number of unpleasant books, including The Miserable Mill, Horseradish, and The Baby in the Manger. Lisa Brown is the writer and illustrator of Baby Be Us books, and I can't see the rest because you made it dark, but it's a very funny story, and I like learning about Hanukkah. And recording.